Hi, I'm Erica Marie Wigley, and thank you for joining me on today's class. The beautiful thing about this class is that we're all connected, and the information that you'll learn from the topics that will be discussed are really keys to life. And what are the keys to life? Well, I'm going to introduce you to what that is. Today's main topic is about confidence and how to shine from the inside out. And there's so many things that you can do to shine from the inside out. And if you notice that with the mention of confidence and shining from the inside out, it requires inner work. It's not anything that you can capture outside of yourself, but all of the keys that you need to life really are within you. So this class is about unlocking the door so that you can enter into the other side of discovering the beauty that exists beyond what you are currently experiencing at this present time. My mentor a few years ago mentioned a movie to me called The Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And this movie opened me up to really connecting to the present moment. There were three main topics that were mentioned in this movie. And when the key character, and it's actually Dan Millman, a character that plays him, uh, he experienced a devastating accident, a motorcycle accident, that actually took him away from the love of the sport. And in this case, for him, it was being a gymnast and really qualifying for the Olympics and moving on to bigger and greater things. Isn't that a parallel in our lives? Always looking for what's next and wanting to achieve that pinnacle moment. And in his life, he was so focused on achieving that pinnacle moment that when he had that devastating accident, it took him away from what he thought he was. He had to rediscover himself for the first time. The beauty about this is that he realized he wasn't connecting with life. He met a gentleman by the name of Socrates, and through the course of the movie, you can realize that Socrates is truly his inner self, his inner guide. That inner self and inner guide that we all have, that was always there, that was always wanting and yearning for us to connect to it. But because of this living outside of ourselves and wanting to achieve the pinnacle moment, if you will, we don't really realize that life is happening now. It doesn't happen tomorrow and that focus on that greater goal. And life already occurred yesterday, so why are we focusing on the yesterday? The present moment is the freshness of life. It's where all the answers are. And for him, he discovered what that was. In the final aspect of that movie, he was hanging from the triple ring, and there were three questions that he asked himself. And those three questions were, where am I? And his answer was here. The next question was, what time is it? And his answer was now. And the last question was, what am I? And his answer was simply the present moment. And in capturing these three questions, it really encapsulates the entire aspect of confidence and shining from the inside out. Because in knowing who you are and connecting to life in this moment, you can begin, you can begin, you can begin, you can begin, and so on and so forth. Life never ends. Life is constantly happening. So this opens me up to our first big idea. And the first big idea is that life happens now. Now. Again, it already happened. Whatever happened yesterday, we can't dwell on that. That moment has passed. The moment that I just met you, about, 10 minutes ago, that moment happened already. Life is in this present moment. It's in this millisecond. And everything that we need is captured right here. Why focus on tomorrow? Tomorrow hasn't happened yet. If there is a goal that you're wanting to achieve, instead of focusing on tomorrow, realize the answers that are being presented to you in this present moment. You'll be surprised. You might have a major question that you're asking yourself and needing the answer to immediately. And sometimes the immediate answer doesn't quite happen as we often thought it would. But if we're connecting to life, we may find the answer through an article that we read. We may find the answer driving on the highway and seeing a personalized tag, license plate, that has a message for us at that moment. You know, there's something that anytime I find myself outside of the present moment, it's interesting how life always presents me with those types of messages. And even today, as I was driving on the highway, there was someone that was driving in a Jeep, and behind, on the back of their Jeep, it had the words that life is good. Simply that life is good. Just in reading that, it placed me back to where I needed to be, which was here, which was now. And that is the gift of life happens now. So in moving forward with that, because really this entire class can be based on that one premise, because that's where everything is. That's where your confidence is. That's where shining from the inside out is. That's where life is. But there's also other things that the gifts that are created based on this one main aspect. And that leads me to our second big topic, and that is to know who you are and why you're here. The only way that that can happen is by connecting to the present moment. So what you'll notice is that these 10 big ideas that I'm going to mention all feed into the first topic, the first big idea, which is that life happens now. So in finding out who you are and why you're here, it gives you a greater sense of purpose. It connects you to the gifts and the talents that you have that might have been dormant. It awakens you to something greater. So if you're someone who is experiencing life in the sense of feeling that you're not living, so the little L as opposed to the big L of life. If you're someone who experiences depression and you really have lost hope, not knowing how to move forward with life, if there's even anything great for you to achieve, in order to find those answers and unlock the door to that something great within you, it's in asking life those bigger questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? What's my calling? And until you find that, life doesn't quite happen. So why not give up the idea of fitting into what society wants you to be? You know, for example, I went to school to become a nurse. And years later, I realized that being a nurse really wasn't my calling. It's what my family wanted me to do, but it wasn't my calling. I knew that. I instinctively knew that, but I did it anyway. Are you that way? Have you done something knowing that that inner guide within you was calling you, saying, you know what? I think I need you to pause. This might not be the path for you. But despite that inner knowing, you did it anyway. You're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. And that's really also something important to know, that we're all alike in so many ways. And it's through living in this life that we are able to get it right. We're given an opportunity to get it right. And it's through the ups and downs of life and being completely present and focusing on that here and now that we're able to find the answers and dig deeper within ourselves to figure out why we make the choices that we make. So knowing who you are and why you're here will allow you to live life with enthusiasm, confidence, brilliance, boldness. Ask those deeper questions. And this leads me to the third question, or the third big idea rather, and that is to know your worth. So again, this feeds into the present moment, knowing why you're here, your purpose. And in doing all of these things, you'll discover what your worth is. And when you know your worth, oh my goodness, there is power in that. There's absolute power in that. No one can determine your worth for you. No longer do you allow someone else to determine what is worthy of you to do or be or become. Because when you know what your worth is, you move forward with such vigor, such enthusiasm, and such boldness that life meets you where you are. Life meets you where you are. Knowing your worth is powerful. I want you to think about the times in your life that you've placed your worth in someone else's hands. And that person decided that they were going to walk out the door and leave you. Maybe I'm talking to someone at this present moment. With that experience, all hope is not gone, all hope is not lost. It was a great lesson for you to understand the value in who you are and to never place your power in someone else's hands. Because in doing that, you've given yourself away. Think about that and pause for a minute and take that in. Breathe that in for a moment. Which then leads me to our fourth big idea, and that is to do what you love. Doing what you love is brilliant. When you're connecting with the present moment, when you know who you are and know why you're here and you know what your worth is, it automatically feeds into doing what you love because you realize that time is precious. And just as I've spoken before, when we first met, that time has already passed. We're here, right now, in this moment. Just as Dan Millman discovered in The Peaceful Warrior. Knowing what you love and also incorporating the feelings of love in everything that you do creates something magnificent. There's something called the law of compensation, also called seed time and harvest, also called the law of karma, also called scientifically cause and effect. They're all stated differently, but the meaning behind it is all the same. What you put out into the universe returns to you in kind, but it's never an equal measure. It's always greater than how you've given it. It's like taking a seed and planting it in the ground, in this fertile ground that exists beyond measure, and having the assistance of nature to help this seed grow. There's love in that moment. There's love that's percolating. There's love that's growing. Nature is a perfect example and great teacher to what we should incorporate in our lives. And that is to do what we love and to incorporate the brilliance of love in everything that we do, so that what we've planted in life returns to us greater than what we've given. Don't waste another moment doing what brings you sadness. Don't waste another moment thinking about that person that hurt you. Don't waste another moment regretting your actions. Don't waste another moment doubting your ability to do greatness. Instead, take those thoughts, plant them with the brilliance that you are, that I am the greatness that exists. I am worthy. I know who I am. Plant those seeds, and you'll be surprised at what you receive in return. The fifth big idea is that your voice has value. Your voice has value. And when I thought about that in the preparation of this class, the words came to me that your voice has presence as well as it does value. Let's think about Maya Angelou. And if you've ever heard her speak, there's this greatness that resonates and rolls off of her tongue that still vibrates throughout the universe, even with her having passed on. Her voice still has presence, doesn't it? Think about some of the greats within your own life that you admire. May not know them, but there's something about them that you admire. There's something that resonates powerfully about the words that they speak, because each thing that is spoken by those great leaders that existed before our time and those that even exist now, each word was carefully selected, and each word has power and creates the gift of life. And essentially, it is life. So in thinking about what you say, pause for a moment before it rolls off of your tongue. Pause and think about it. Think about the effect that it will have when it's spoken. Words can create life, or it can destroy life. Maybe you're someone that experienced a hurt in your childhood based on what a family member said about you. And years later, up until this point, as an adult, that comment still haunts you. Think about the value in words. And just as I said, words can either create life or it can destroy life. This class is truly to provide you with the keys that will allow you to step into the other side of living so that you can free yourself from those past hurts, those past voices that continue to haunt you, if you will, and become the greatness that you are, because you're here for a moment, you're here for a reason. If you didn't have value, you wouldn't exist. And I want you to take that in, take that in, take that in. If you didn't exist, you wouldn't have value. If you don't have value, you wouldn't exist. There's a relationship there. The gift that you are and the value that you have is far greater than what you can even imagine. What you can even imagine. So in manifesting the life that you want to have, a part of that is really in blessing yourself with the words that will create the life that you want, and also removing the voices, the thoughts that keep you stuck in the past. This leads me to the next big idea, which is always be willing to grow. This is really valuable. It doesn't matter how far you've gotten in life. You could be the President of the United States. You could be a great spiritual leader in the world. There's always even greater room to grow. Because you're still living, then there's always something for you to learn. I want you to stay open. Stay open. Stay open to growth. Stay open to allowing yourself to reach that level of excellence that you are. And the only way that that's going to happen, of course, again, is connecting to the present moment and getting to understand who you are, why you make those decisions, and really analyzing that from a higher level. So it's not analyzing it from the place of judgment, because that keeps you stuck. It's taking it a level higher. It's, I believe it's Buddha that said it's as though you are seeing yourself from above. So you're above and you're actually seeing your actions occurring, and there's no judgment there, but you're just a witness to it. And I'm going to later on discuss how to connect in with getting those answers that you're needing, because as you're seeing yourself and being honest with yourself, then you're opening yourself to growth. You're not stagnating, you're thriving, you're growing, you're developing into the greatness that you are. So always be willing to grow and always perform with excellence in anything that you do, because that is, it's a reflection of who you are. Because you, at the end of the day, you are great and you are excellent. So you have to develop that. You have to mold it. You have to put it into action. And all of these things correlate with doing what you love and placing love in everything that you do, knowing your worth, knowing why you're here, what your purpose is, what your calling is, connecting to this moment. Everything intertwines and becomes one. The next big idea is to be easy on yourself. You know, oftentimes we're just so serious about life, and life really is not that serious as we make it out to be. And in those serious thoughts about life, we miss out on the beauty of life. The beauty of life and the ease of life. If you ever observe nature and you notice that the flowers and the trees and plants, they don't struggle to grow. There's no struggle for them to grow. There's just a trust factor there that all that they need will be provided for, and they'll grow and thrive and benefit humanity in some great way. Just as we are destined to do and to be and who we are. So in not taking life so seriously, you are able to grow and live and enjoy the moments and laugh at yourself. I mean, the reality is we're not going to get everything right, right? And that's the whole point of life and living, is learning and growing and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And not judging ourselves and regretting our actions and harboring and holding on to those feelings that still keep us blocked and stuck in the yesteryears that happened already. So be easy, laugh. It's okay. The next big idea is creating those daily sacred moments. And in creating those daily sacred moments, it connects you to all of the answers that you could ever need, or all of the answers that you're asking in this moment. It connects you to what that answer is, and hearing the answer, knowing what that answer is. So there are a few things that I do that I think are really helpful, and I hope that you'll incorporate them in some form or fashion, or create your own form or fashion in connecting and developing those sacred moments. But beginning your day with stillness in prayer and asking those questions that you're needing answers to. Because that's really what prayer is. It's in that communion with this higher power that exists, the higher universal power, God, or who you deem as the universal power that exists. Ask those deeper questions. Stop struggling through the course of your day, through the course of your life, trying to do everything yourself. You were not made to be in this world alone. And there is truly a world that exists beyond what we can physically see and touch and feel. So connect to that source of life that is wanting that connection. It's like a lamp, and there's a plug, and you plug it into the socket, and you're able to all of a sudden turn on the light. It's in these daily sacred moments that you're connecting to that source of life where the light automatically illuminates within you. And with that illumination, all answers come. So asking those deeper questions and even just being thankful. Sometimes it's not even asking for anything. It's just simply saying thank you. Thank you for waking me up this day. Thank you for giving me another opportunity to make it right. I didn't make it right yesterday, but I thank you for giving me another chance to make it right today. It could be just as simple as that. It doesn't have to be formal. Just as we're meeting and I'm talking to you, it could be just as simple as that. That's your conversation with this universal power of God that exists. The next thing is meditation. Meditation opens you up. It places you in a moment of stillness where the answers that you need are provided. So prayer is mainly the asking or being thankful. Meditation is where you are in receptivity. You're in this state of receptivity and openness to hearing and receiving divine inspiration, which really provides the answers that you're needing, those questions that you've asked. And the other aspect I think is really important is reflecting at the end of the day on the course of the events that have occurred. So really replaying everything that happened throughout your day, the things that you said, the feelings that you felt, the thoughts that you had, the situations in which an interaction with someone triggered a thought that took you back to your college years, took you back to the time that you were married to your spouse, or took you back to your childhood. Pay attention to those things and what your trigger points are. Because in knowing that, you really can understand yourself better. Why you do the things you do, why you make the decisions that you make, why you think the way that you do. And in reflecting through the course of the day, again, without judgment, because this is not a moment in which you're judging yourself and being hard on yourself, but being light and easy and open to just understanding yourself better. The next big idea is to honor and love yourself. And that's just as simple as that, to honor yourself and to love yourself. In loving yourself, there's something great that occurs. If you're always seeking love from someone else, wanting someone else to love you, wanting someone else to feel those feelings that you so are wanting and desiring, but you're not feeding yourself and nurturing yourself and giving yourself those important things that you need, then it would be similar to, again, taking a seed, planting it in a ground that is not fertile, planting it without watering it. There's nothing that's going to happen. There's no life that can be created in that. There's no love that can spring and sprout and grow and develop and thrive and reach its level of magnificence from that. So you have to do it for yourself. We have to do it for ourselves. To take those moments to honor ourselves. Go to the movies. Take yourself out to dinner. Get your nails done. Get a massage. Go golfing. You know, just being light and easy, or even just walking through nature. It doesn't even have to cost anything. or talking to someone that inspires you, that opens you up to something greater. Think about that and how you can incorporate those moments within your life, which will all lead you to this level of confidence and shining from the inside out. And the final big idea is to affirm, feel, imagine, and do. If you take stock of your life, you'll really understand what you're affirming. Take a moment to look at where you are at this present moment in your life, and you'll understand the things that you have affirmed up to this point. Are you affirming life and creating the brilliance within you and creating the kind of life that you want to shine from the inside out? Or are you affirming things that are destroying your life, that are not creating but taking away, that are not creating but pulling you down, that are not creating but leading you to this place of hopelessness? Think about what you're affirming and change what it is that you don't like. Again, each moment allows you to begin again. All hope is not lost. You have life. Plant another seed and keep planting and watering and nurturing and honoring and loving, and you'll be surprised at the life that begins to develop and create for you. The next step is feeling. After you've affirmed what it is that you're wanting to achieve, believe, change, become ultimately, I want you to feel what those feelings are. What does it feel like to become that? What does it feel like to live that way? Because both really are essential. You can't affirm anything without attaching certain feelings to it in order for it to work. Both have to come together. And there's this passion that's involved. You're either passionate about being angry, or you're passionate about life, enjoyment, and the fullness that exists. So that passion creates the feeling, it creates the desire. You become what it is that you're affirming. It is a natural fact. And in affirming and feeling and desiring and enveloping that, you also have to imagine it. Think about the person that you wish to be. Think about the situation that you wish to change and create life into. Think about that. Imagine it. Imagine it as a picture in your mind, in your mind's eye. And if it's difficult for you to imagine it, then try doing a vision board. And on the vision board, you can put pictures that actually motivate and speak to whatever it is that you're affirming, so that you can actually see yourself there. Sometimes it's hard to imagine and picture it for ourselves within our mind's eye. But if you create a vision board and put pictures on there, and your picture, and words of inspiration that actually can take you there, and you can see that every day, you can connect to that. That's also the same thing. So in affirming and feeling and imagining, the final step is in doing. You can't affirm, feel, and imagine and not do anything about it if you really want to change. Because if you affirm, feel, and imagine without the doing, which is the action that's involved on your part in order to take you there, then it becomes a wish. It becomes a wish. and not something that is self-actualized, not something that you can manifest into physical form. So it does require action, and that action is really the catalyst that's going to take you to the other side, to what it is that you're hoping to become and to be. So these are the 10 big ideas for confidence and how to shine from the inside out. I hope that you found value in it. In these final moments before the end of class, I just want you to close your eyes for a brief moment. And I want you to imagine and to think and to take in everything that we discussed. That number one, life happens now. Number two, know who you are and why you're here. Number three, know your worth. Number four, do what you love and incorporate love in everything that you do. It's the seed that you're planting. Number five, your voice has value and your voice has presence. Remember that. Number six, always be willing to grow and to do everything with excellence, because that is who you truly are anyway. Number seven, be easy on yourself and laugh. Laugh. Don't take life so seriously. It really isn't that serious. Number eight, create daily sacred moments in which you can ask those deeper questions. Be open to receiving them and reflecting upon the course of your day to better understand yourself. Number nine, honor and love yourself. Do that and never allow anyone else to take that power from you. The power is in your hands to nurture yourself and to feed yourself and to develop yourself into the fullness and wholeness that you are. And number 10, affirm, feel, imagine, and finally do. All of these things that I've mentioned are ways in which you can create life for yourself. And that is the purpose and point of this class, is for me to be of service to you. You are the very reason that I created this class. And it is an absolute pleasure and joy to meet you. I'll see you on the next class.